Welcome to Microsoft Consent with Cookiebot and GTM. Let's dive in. Just a minute about who I am. I'm Minisha Mystery. I'm an instructor at MeasureU. I became a part of MeasureU in 2022. At the same time, I became a certified measurement marketer. As an instructor at MeasureU, I work directly with our dedicated measurement management clients. I help them answer their questions, I help them set up their measurement, and I help them dive into tools like BigQuery, Analytics, Canvas, and Looker Studio. If you got those questions or you got a complex challenge, hit me up. I love diving into those. Now, with any one of our trainings, you want to remember one thing. Grab one thing while you're watching this. Go ride the bike, then circle back and grab another one thing. Alrighty, before we begin, let's remember our measurement marketing framework that helps you go from marketing in the blind to marketing where you reliably grow revenue and profit. There are three key pillars: plan, build, and launch. Plan is about questions, information, and actions. Make sure you can take actions. If not, circle back and ask different questions. Build is results, traffic, and having the results and traffic tell you a story. And launch is all about listen, forecast, and optimize. Now, let's dive into Microsoft Consent with Cookiebot and GTM. Alrighty, so now we are going to start configuring our Microsoft Consent. Now, a couple things. You're going to want access to Google Tag Manager. You do not need to have GA4 handy for this, but if you happen to have it open, great. Top of that, you don't need to have access to this, but just know that you need to have the banner set up already. So have the client, configure the banner, do all that good stuff. Have the banner installed on the site. In our case, I'm just going to look for Cookie. We have the banner installed to GTM. However, that doesn't have to be the case. Your client could easily install the banner directly on their site. We have clients that do that with us too. They've installed the banner directly on their site. That's fine, as long as you have the banner on your site. Okay, have all that, that's great. Now, one amazing thing with Cookiebot, and personally what we love about Cookiebot, and this is the reason we are paid partners with Cookiebot, is they have a direct integration with Bing Ads. So they have that direct integration with Bing Ads. And the great thing about that is it kind of handles the consent signals for you. So, that is a huge win that Cookiebot brings to the table. And that's personally why we use Cookiebot. And that is also why we are paid partners. Okay, so in this case, because we're doing consent, I'm going to pop over and I'm going to bring over an incognito window. And I'm doing this because consent holds on to cookies and all that good stuff. And I visit our page, a dozen times a day. So I'm going to just do an incognito window. If you are doing consent, consider working in incognito and starting an incognito window when you need it. Okay, so I'm just going to blow this window up. Bang, done. Okay, so coming back into tags, we know we have a banner set up and all that good stuff. Now, what we need to start with is a UAT tag. I am not going to show you how to create a UAT tag in Bing Ads. That is something separate. Totally do that. Most of the time, our clients come to us and they give us our UAT tag number. But once you get that number, what do you need to do? Well, you come into GTM, tags, new, click on the gray square, come down here, look for Microsoft, and you're looking for the Microsoft Advertising Universal Event Tracking. That is a lot of words, in my opinion. Click on that, okay? Hot second. The client is going to give you a UE tag number. Your goal is to just put it in here. And I just need to make sure I click on there. I'm just making my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, your UET tag number could be whatever they give you, okay? Now, without consent, all that good stuff, you would name this Microsoft. Did I spell that wrong? I did. Apologies. And I would put the number in here. Okay. Not worrying about consent, I would have this fire on all pages. I would hit save. Okay. We are going to start there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on preview. Okay. Now, because they have a direct integration, what it is saying is that when somebody consents, it will send the consent signals. However, in some of our testing, we find that we want to set consent to denied and then set it to granted. I'm going to show you how to do that in a hot second. Let's just take this one step at a time together. So I'm going to connect to the site and we're going to let the site load. We're just going to kind of hands off, let the machine do its thing, It's going to do all its, loading and making sure all the green check marks show up, right? I'm waiting for this to be green. I'm waiting for that to be green. Oh, that was nice and green. Okay, so we have loaded. We can see our UET tag loaded. We can see our banner fired. So we got two good things firing. Okay, so I'm not going to touch this banner. We're just not going to touch this. We're going to right click. We're going to go to inspect. We're going to load, let's make sure, something called Chrome DevTools. Chrome DevTools tends to become a good friend when you're doing consent. I'm going to click on network. Okay, now, if you load this after the page loads, what you actually need to do in network is you need to reload the page. So we're just going to give it a hot minute to reload. And as you can see, it's kind of populating this whole section. Now, I know there's lots of text here. Don't worry about it. What you want to do is click into filter and look for the word Bing. Okay, and you're going to see a couple of different things here. Okay, and we're gonna do this together. So what you want to do is look for this one and click on this, and then you're going to come into payload. And what we're looking for is something that says ASD, and you want it to say D, which means denied, because I haven't consented yet. There's been no consent at this time, right? I am literally sitting here. I am staring at this. I haven't agreed to being tracked. I haven't said I want marketing. I haven't said I want to. I've said nothing to them, right? However, this is firing and it's not sending any consent signals, and you need it to. So what do? I'm actually going to come out of here. I'm going to come out of here, and we're going to make a couple changes. So first off, we are going to come in here, and we are going to click on tag, click on new tag, and then we're going to go look for a tag together. The tag is under the community gallery. Actually, hold on. Yes, it's under the community gallery. I just wanted TBV where it was. Nope. Click on community gallery. And the community gallery can take a hot second to load. So we're just going to give it a minute. And we're going to send prayers to Google Gods. We're going to look for a tag called Google. Sorry, not Google. Microsoft. This one, Microsoft UET consent mode, okay? And we're going to add to workspace. Now, when adding any of these templates, TBV that it's okay to add. This is another one. You know, we've added a couple in the past, but this is another one we trust. Our measurement community trusts. Many of the giants in the community use this one. So I trust this one. We at MeasureU trust this one. So I'm going to add it. Okay, so that's it. And what we want to do here is we want to set the default consent state, right? And we want to set it to denied. So we want it set it to denied, okay? And this is because before somebody consents, we can't say they've consented. We can't say they've granted consent before they consent. So we need to set this to denied. And then we need this to fire before our UET tag, okay? So let's first name this. I usually call this Microsoft UET set consent denied dash denied. Spelling does matter. And we're going to set this trigger to fire come into here. I'm going to see if I have one. I'm looking for a consent initialization. I do have one right here. Okay. So what we're saying is when consent is initialized, it's denied because no one's given consent. Okay. So I'm going to save. Okay. But that means that we can't fire our UAT tag, right? Remember the other tag we set up? We got to make sure this doesn't fire if consent's denied. But let's take this a step at a time. So we're going to come into preview. We're going to do this together now. We got this. We're going to load this. We're giving it a hot second to load. We're also sending prayers to the Google gods that this doesn't error out or anything. But it can, and if it does, you just, close it down and reopen it up. Okay. Here we go. We got this going. I'm going to come here. Now we're going to load that network again. Network is your friend when it comes to setting up consent. And we're going to come into network. And this time I'm going to keep the word Bing in there. Oh, a little too fast there, Bing in there. But I am going to see it tells you to reload the page. So I can click this button too. Isn't that cool? You can just click a button. And we're just going to let it reload the page. We're just going to be hands off. Take your hands off and let it reload. See, there you go. Okay. So what happened here is, you may have already noticed this, right? Did you notice that? Did you notice that? ASD denied. So now we know consent is denied. So we've set it good that if somebody hasn't consented, we are telling Microsoft that consent's denied. We're sending the signal to Microsoft that consent's denied. Now, how do you send the signal that consent is granted? That's a critical thing, right? How do you tell consent is granted, right? So now what we're actually going to do is we're going to consent. Let me just shove this out of the way. I'm going to move this out of the way. And we're going to come in here. And we're going to go in here. And we're going to go allow all. Okay? Now, come in here. Let's see this. See? Granted. And granted. So consent's now granted, right? Right? So Microsoft did send the signal that once consent was granted, it sent the signal, hey, now consent's granted. So you started with consent being denied because the page loaded and consent was denied because I hadn't agreed to anything. But the minute I updated it, it sent this ASC parameter to granted. So now consent is granted. It can collect data. And this is my UAT tag, right? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be a proper UAT tag number. We just, have one on hand, but that would be the number. And now consent's granted and Microsoft has that signal. Now, the final thing you may want to do, I'm going to close that. Actually, I'm not going to close it right here yet. I'm going to go into Tag Assistant. Now, I want to actually, we're going to do this again. I'm going to show you something. Okay, so I'm going to go and delete my cookies. Bye-bye cookies. Okay, and then I'm going to, I just want to make sure it deletes all my cookies. And I'm going to refresh this page. And I'm hoping it pops up again. If it doesn't, I might have to reload the whole incognito. So let's see what it does. Okay, it should bring me the pop-up back. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here. Now, we're just going to focus on, we're not going to worry about any of these below here, okay? We're just actually going to close these off. We're going to them. Okay, so when the site loads, you have your message, you have your consent initialized, you got your banner popping, your denied set, and then if you notice here, it's like consent default, right? And then you can come in here and look at these different things, right? You can see consent's denied, perfect, right? And at this point, it's not telling you I've interacted with banner. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to interact with this banner. And okay, in here too, just a TBV, it's denied. It's denied. Perfect, right? Page load is done. Okay. I'm going to interact with this banner. I am going to go on, and I'm going to go allow all. Okay? Remember where we were? We were at 62 now. Okay? So we're going to click this now. Ready? Allow. Okay. What happens? Just watch this. Okay, what's happening on the left side is you're seeing a couple different things pop up. First thing you saw was cookie consent updated. This is a signal from Cookiebot, and this is why we love Cookiebot, is they send that signal that, hey, cookie consent has been updated. In addition to that, they send you very specific signals of what's been allowed, right? Oh, you're allowed preferences. Oh, you're allowed statistics, which is analytics, right? Oh, you're allowed marketing, which is like Facebook ads, UAT tag. So if you want it to be more specific and only have your UAT tag fire when marketing consent is granted, what would you do? We're going to go back in Tag Manager. We're going to keep our tag assistant there. We're going to go find our UAT tag, okay? And instead of firing it on all pages, we're going to take this out, right? We're going to come in here, and what we're going to do is I'll most likely have this created, but I'm going to create this live. Click on the plus. Click on the circle, double rings. Come in here and look for custom event, okay? And you want to make sure you spell this. So I am notorious for spelling. So what I would do is I'd come in here, and because it's marketing, I would physically just copy this. Make sure I don't get the quotes. It's just what's in there. And the reason I'm doing cookie consent marketing is somebody's agreeing to marketing pixels. So in that case, I would pop that in here. I would call this CE marketing. I'm hoping I don't have one of these. I don't, so that's great news. So now what this is saying is, okay, the UAT tag can only fire once marketing consent is granted, meaning that if I don't grant marketing consent, it won't fire. So what does that mean? Let's save. And we let me delete my cookies. Dum-de-dum. I am just going to delete all the cookies. And I'm going to leave, and I'm going to reload the preview. We're reloading that preview. I'm going to keep an eye on this together, okay? So let's see what happens now, right? Let's do this together. So we're just going to, hands off, wait for that banner to pop, wait for the green check marks, right? All the good things, check marks, connection, banner pops, perfect. Right click, inspect, go in Tag Assistant, hit continue. Okay, so let's just go back into Tag Assistant and see what happened. Okay, so message, consent initialized, we had denied sent, and then coming through here, we're coming through here, as you can see. I'm actually going to come all the way to the top here and show you. As you can see, our UAT tag did not fire. If you go in here, it didn't fire. Why? Because it's waiting for that signal, okay? So I'm going to come into here. I'm going to go into network, and I'm going to have to reload this page. So we're going to reload this page. That's the only downside with network is you have to reload the page every time. Just take that into account. But I have to say, it's your best friend when kind of working out things like consent. Okay, we're letting it load. As you can see, there's nothing for Bing at this time because it hasn't fired. Okay, now, if I was to allow consent, and I'm going to allow consent now. So we are at, what are we at? We're at 31, right? We're at 31. So now we're going to go here and we're going to allow all. We're going to go hands off. We're going to let it do its little thing, right? So we're going to come in here. We're going to see what happened. So this loaded. Consent was set to denied. Then the consent was updated to granted. And then the page load fires was granted. Perfect. So in this case, it waited until somebody gave consent before it sent any signals, right? So those are different ways you can implement it, right? You can do it where the signal sent was denied, the page load sent was denied, and then granted, or you can set it that your tag only fires once consent is granted, right? So coming into here, as you can see right here, at this point in time, this is where the UET tag, because somebody agreed to marketing, right? They agreed to market, so in that case, you can fire it. And that's all. That's how you set up Bing ads with consent in mind, is you set up, I'm going to go back through the setup really quickly, is you set up your UET tag, and you can set it up to fire when cookie consent marketing, right? And you set your default consent to denied. And then you TBV your signals in network, and you are good to go. Then you publish your container, and you officially set up Bing consent. Alrighty, what was your one thing? Was it that Cookiebot has a direct integration with Bing Ads and it's so easy to set up consent? I had to say, like, I love the fact that it's like 2 tags. And I was like done and I could publish and it was easy. We've implemented consent for a few clients for Bing Ads and it's just, you know what, it's nice when it's Cookiebot because it has that simple, simplicity to it, and that is why we are paid partners. Now, if you want to join us, you want to join Academy Insiders, you want to hop on and take a look at the Academy, I recommend you hit up the link MeasureU.com/workshops. There you'll learn about the Academy, you'll learn what's included, you'll learn how you'll be able to ask Julie, myself, Mercer, Jeff, and there are dozens of our mentors questions back there in MeasureU. So there you have it. That was Microsoft Consent with Cookiebot in GTM.